Friday morning. I'm Matt Carothers, and welcome to another installment. It's that time, folks. It's Blinkers Off time, everyone's favorite 30-minute horse racing program. We have so much to cover, it's ridiculous. I requested the show being an hour today, but they said no, so we'll do our best to get through it in 30 minutes. Most of you are aware, they gave us some hardware. Monday night in Southern California, the best in racing received Eclipse Awards Monday night in Southern California. We will talk about the winners, we'll talk about the losers, we'll talk about the voting process in general. Then we'll turn our attention to one of the great horses we have in the world, Black Caviar, undefeated. What is next for her? What is scheduled on her calendar for 2012? But again, she's going to get some tests, I think, this year that she did not receive in 2011. And we have lots of handicapping to discuss. What do I got here? We got the Cincinnati Trophy. It's our spotlight race. We got the evening attire. We have the Pepsi-Cola, and we have a race, the Pippin, and the co-host of the program I'll introduce right now. I'm guessing at some point in your acting career, talking about Rich Perloff,
no,
you played Pippin. You had to have played Pippin.
Incorrect, sir.
At some point. Oh, you never played Pippin? That would have been a great character to play.
If it's a play where people are singing, I want no part of that. Because,
oh, come on.
No, people don't want to pay money to see that. They just don't. No. Talking.
Wow. Okay, he was an edgy character. He killed his dad.
Ben Vereen?
Yeah. I love Ben Vereen. Come on, Pippin.
No, I'm not a musical guy. If they ever want to cast me in Sweeney Todd, that one I'll do. That's my kind of musical.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let me turn this way a little bit. All right, Eclipse Awards. Let's get right to it. Right. You were, let me get my glasses on here. You were part of you could vote, and you were one of the 92.88% eligible voters, that did vote. 92.88 of the voters, 7% didn't vote, 93% did vote. You were part of the 93.
Yeah, well, call me crazy. If they want to honor me by allowing me into this organization and give me a say in the year-end awards for all of horse racing, I take that seriously, and I want to participate. I'm curious about the folks who do not even return their ballots. If you've decided at this point in your progress that you no longer want to vote, well, contact whichever of the organizations is providing you with the opportunity and say, I just as soon not.
Yeah, weird things happen. Deaths in the family, car accidents. Things happen, but not to over 7% of the eligible voters.
This is year in and year out. I just think that there's some people who probably have been in this cycle for so long that they don't really get that it is a privilege.
A guy named Mike Watchmaker used to be the co-host of this program. We'll talk about an article that he wrote on DRF.com a couple of days ago about indefensible Eclipse Award votes. He didn't have a problem with the outcome in terms of the winners. He had a problem with a few horses that actually received votes that he thought were ridiculous, and they were.
Well, there's one in particular which is completely
we'll get to that in a minute. But the closest vote was 3-year-old male.
Yeah.
It came down to Animal Kingdom receiving 114 votes, Caleb's Posse 111 votes. If I would have had a vote, I would have voted for Caleb's Posse. I think you obviously had a vote. I think you voted for Caleb's Posse as well.
That's
right.
About
that? You did, didn't you?
Yeah, I voted Caleb's Posse won, Animal Kingdom too.
This was his last win.
Which was a devastating win.
It was.
Well, wait, this is Animal Kingdom.
Right.
He won the Spiral, he won the Derby. The Derby carries a lot of weight.
He ran well in the Preakness.
Ran well in the Preakness. He went wrong in the Belmont. A strong campaign. I have no real issue with the way this came down. I just feel a little bit badly that Caleb's Posse, for the campaign that he has, comes away with nothing, because he was also a finalist for top sprinter, but Amazombi pretty easily defeated him there.
I made this point, I think, I can't remember the show I was on this week, that I think in a year that, let's just be honest, was a little bit watered down, 2011. These are all really good horses, and congratulations to the connections, and I'm not going to diminish the achievements that they had. It wasn't the strongest year we had in racing in 2011. So I think in the years that are relatively weak in terms of body of work for horses, the Breeders' Cup should mean more. Doesn't that make sense? And Caleb's Posse was as dominant a winner as we had Breeders' Cup weekend. It seems like we're not. The Breeders' Cup doesn't mean as much. The last 3 horses of the year, none of them, either they didn't race in the Breeders' Cup or they didn't win the Breeders' Cup Classic. It's just what you do Breeders' Cup weekend doesn't seem to be quite as important as it used to be.
Well, look, maybe we're just disagreeing on this point, but I think that two things are true about the Breeders' Cup. I think that you do not necessarily torpedo your chances for divisional honors, year-end honors, with a poor effort in the Breeders' Cup. Witness Stay Solita in the distaff turf division, nor do you necessarily put yourself in the hunt with a big effort on Breeders' Cup Day. Witness Drosselmeyer. Nobody was taking him seriously as a Horse of the Year candidate.
And I love the Indefensible Eclipse Award votes. Watchmaker says his favorite, Drosselmeyer, who raced once on grass and finished 7th.
Yeah, a top turf male. Somebody voted for him.
Somebody voted for a horse that raced once on turf and finished 7th. Stacey Lee, you want to talk about her? She comes over to the States, Grade 1 win, Grade 1 win, Grade 1 win. One of those Grade 1 wins being the Beverly D.
That's right.
She goes into the Philly and Mare Turf and she runs 10th.
And she beat Dubowie Heights straight up.
Right.
But again, see, so where I come out on this, Matt, is that the Breeders' Cup, as important as it is, as important as we want to make it be, it's one race. It's one race, and you've got to step back and look at the entire campaign. Getting back to Caleb's posse, look, the horse was good enough to win 2 solid races going around 2 turns. He won the Smarty Jones, he won the Ohio Derby. He turned out to be a devastatingly good 1-turn horse, and he ended his campaign in fine style.
He wins the King's Bishop.
He wins the King's Bishop over Uncle Mo, who was on the comeback trail, but 7 furlongs is kind of his game.
At his track, too.
Right. And then he, he'd already won the Amsterdam very convincingly. We saw what he did on Breeders' Cup Day.
I'm with you. So
I wish he'd have gotten something.
Again, this isn't something that bothers me too much in racing. I mean, lowering takeout, doing a better job of marketing. Those are things that I think racing needs to spend more time on. But because obviously Eclipse Awards just took place, we will talk about it. In the voting process, I don't know what you do. There are flaws in every system. There's flaws in baseball, there's flaws in football, there's flaws in basketball, when it comes to the Hall of Fame, when it comes to the MVP vote. So there's going to be flaws in racing as well. Watchmaker, one of the things he said in his article, and we talked about, even though I like Uncle Mo, he received votes for 3-year-old male, which is obviously ridiculous with Animal Kingdom and Caleb's posse. Awesome Feather received a vote over Royal Delta. I mean, come on. I mean, Royal Delta wins the Black Eyed Susan, she wins the Alabama, and she wins the Ladies Classic. So, I mean, there are some odd people out there. I do think accountability. They should have accountability. You should put a face next to the vote. And because human beings in general are fear of embarrassment, I think, is maybe your number one fear. That's why people don't like public speaking. Fear of making a fool of themselves. If, I can say, wow, Rich Perloff voted for Awesome Feather for 3-year-old filly. I mean, you might take it a little bit more seriously if you get embarrassed by some of your votes.
I voted her 3rd.
Okay.
She was 3rd.
Okay. All right. You didn't vote her 1st.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I do. And you know what would be exposed if we were to do that, Matt? You know what would be exposed in the Eclipse Awards is that there are still some people out there, I'm sure, who are casting their ballots as a referendum about synthetic track racing, for example. They don't like synthetic track racing at all.
Yeah,
they don't care for horses whose most success is earned in that environment. And I agree. Let's find out who's casting votes for those reasons.
I mean, the only thing I disagree with Mike in his column, I agree with 92.88% of it. The only thing that I disagree is that, I don't want to turn into some sort of Orwellian deal where you have a group of individuals that are watching every voter and what they do and calling them into some secret room, and you have the thought police involved. I mean, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. I think what you should do, though, is everyone votes. Nobody pays any. At the end of the process, after the Eclipse Awards, maybe you have a panel go back and look at it and then ask a couple of questions. Not during the process. I think maybe after the process you go there. What happened to you, by the way?
They pulled me into a dark room, and they did. Absolutely.
They did. They had some issues. How many of the winners from Monday night did you not vote on? Do you know? Was there a lot? Did most of the horses winners from the Eclipse Awards Monday night you agreed with, or were there many differences?
No, not many differences. The great majority of the horses that won were on my ballot someplace. One notable exception, I voted Graham Motion, number 1. As Trainer of the Year. I thought he had a breakout season.
Belmont won his 3rd.
Yeah. And look, and it was absolutely impossible to assail the credentials of the 3 guys that were up for top trainer. Impossible. But I think in the human categories in particular, it's very difficult to rely simply on statistics. Do you know? And we ran into this little issue with apprentice jockeys, at a certain Midwest Thoroughbreds, a great example.
That was very close.
It was a close vote, but see, the fact that Midwest Thoroughbreds is a finalist kind of harkens back to those days when Steve Asmussen was running up the totals every year, winning just unbelievable numbers of races, and yet not being able to seal the deal. It's very hard, I think, for the voters to equate volume as opposed to the graded stakes wins and the high earners.
Yeah. No, yeah, you've had that situation several times in the Midwest. Ken Ramsey in a very close vote, defeating Midwest Thoroughbreds. Horse of the Year, I have no qualms with it. I understand the great campaign that Havre de Grace had. I was a little surprised with the margin.
Yeah.
166 first place votes to Havre de Grace, 26 to Acclamation, 10 Game On Dude, 9 Kate Blanco. I mean, obviously her resume was impressive. She crushes Royal Delta in this race, and we know what Royal Delta did Breeders' Cup weekend. She beats the boys in the Woodward. She had that rivalry with Blind Luck that some runners might take something out of them, because that was the race of the year, in my opinion, at Delaware Park, in which she lost by a nose. And she didn't embarrass herself in the Breeders' Cup Classic, even though she did particularly well.
Here's where I come out. If she doesn't come out of her division and beat the boys at Saratoga, we're not having this conversation, because she would not be a Horse of the Year candidate. That's the kind of a thing that a distaff racehorse, needs to do on their way to Horse of the Year campaign. I heard some folks saying, what she should have done was gone in the Ladies' Classic, and she probably would have blown away Royal Delta. I completely disagree with that. I completely disagree with that reasoning. If she had done that, and then if on Saturday either Game On Dude or Uncle Mo had won the Classic, which at that point in time was still an open question, Havre de Grace would have not become the Horse of the Year. I think her connections did exactly the right thing. You go and you make your own luck. And again, Matt, not sealing the deal on Breeders' Cup Day does not make or break you.
And one of the good things is, even though I thought 2011 was watered down a little bit, at least most of the winners, most of them are coming back.
Yeah, that's great.
Acclamation's coming back. Havre de Grace back. Royal Delta, Dubai World Cup, they're pointing for her. Hansen, Mima Cirilia, Game On Dude, Kalo's Posse, Amazombi. I mean, most of the winners are going to run in 2012. Move along. We're done. We're done with the Eclipse Awards. Toolkit time. And, again, the winter toolkit is something exciting we've been promoting, and it makes sense to promote it with Rich on Blinkers Off, because you are a part of the weekend winter toolkit.
I'm Sunland guy.
Handicapping tools.
I'm Sunland guy. How'd you do at Turf Paradise, by the way?
I was talking about how you only have one direction to go for me, and that is up. My selections were not good. I found the Turf Paradise racing it was fun to handicap, challenging. I didn't perform very well. Timeform star ratings, 1, 2, 3 selections, free pass performances. Saturday's Pepsi Cola Stakes and the El Paso Times on Sunday, and most importantly, talent picks. Quickly, what was you've already obviously done your work already. Your thoughts? You fond of what you handicapped?
Yeah, and I like Sunland, and I've been doing pretty well at Sunland. I have to say, Matt, I get some Sunland Park racing every Tuesday in the handicapsule, and I've been seeing those races pretty well. The most important thing for handicappers as you handicap Sunland Park, go looking through the past performances for horses with prior Sunland running lines. Not all the New Mexico tracks play the same, so you can't necessarily rely on the form of horses coming in most recently from Zia or Sunray Park or Albuquerque. Just do a little checking and balancing and looking for horses that have run well in the past at Sunland.
Okay, all right, so look forward to that. That's the winter toolkit. We talked Eclipse Awards, and I just mentioned a bunch of runners that are back in 2012, and one of them, I mean, she's, I don't know, I mean, a phenomenon, right? It's fair to call Black Caviar a phenomenon. She's made, what, over $4.3 million in her career, undefeated, 16 for 16. Most of her wins, they all resemble this. We could show backtracks for like all 16 wins, and they kind of look like this.
Condescending ease. Matt, if you listen, to the race callers in these video clips that we have of
supercilious. Did you just call her supercilious?
No, did I?
No. Condescending. Okay.
Condescending ease.
Okay.
If you listen to the race calls, they are treating her the way that our callers were treating Zenyatta in the midst of her run, the way that the UK race callers treat Frankel. I mean, she is, a mega star in their eyes. And you know what? The Timeform ratings line up right behind that.
She's so big in Australia. I think she's bigger than Rick Springfield was when he came out with Jesse's Girl in 1980.
Tough call.
I think she's bigger than that. I'm not sure. Not quite as big as the guys from Men at Work back in the mid-'80s. That was mid-'80s, right? God, I'm getting old. And, I mean, she's been beating up on, obviously, some really good competition. But now they're going to branch out a little bit, it looks like. Royal Ascot plans for her. That was in the plans for her from, since, months back. But Dubai World Cup pre-entered in the Aqua Sprint, that's a 5-furlong turf event, and the Golden Shaheen, obviously, over the synthetic surface at Meydan.
Well, see, what's great about this is that we see her wins. We see how easily she's been winning. We see the streak. We respect that. We see the time form rating. We respect that. But now, for the first time, we're going to see her racing against horses that we have seen race and succeed in other environments. We're actually going to have a yardstick now to measure Black Caviar, and that's very exciting going forward.
The other thing I like about her, too, is her trainer, Peter Moody. Seems like he's kind of a character as well. So you have this fantastic kind of runner that's turning into already a cult figure, and you kind of have this kind of zany, kind of wacky trainer involved as well, which I kind of like that as well. You have the character side with the trainer to go with the incredible talents of this equine athlete. Black Caviar was going to be challenged. It's going to be fun to see her. I think most of us think that she's up to it. Picks recaps. And Rich, I'm not sure if I told you this, we're going win place this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's really helped me so far. It really helped me with my play of the day. I was just sick and tired of 12-to-1 shots finishing second. I couldn't deal with it anymore.
Okay.
So there we go. There's one. There's 1 second for me at 3-to-1. The Ruthless. I Better Lucky, just kind of a non-threatening. Wish you well.
Sure you don't want to go win place and show?
Yeah, no, I got to draw. I figure most of the tournaments in Vegas are win place.
Yes, you're right. You're right about that.
Here we go, 13-to-1.
There you go.
And, again, I'm still whining about it. Missed the break.
Look at that.
I'm up $1.10. So I'm basically dead even. How will we fare with the many of the weekend stakes we'll be covering the next segment? We'll find out. And we will begin with our spotlight race, the Cincinnati Trophy at 6.5 furlongs at Turfway Park. We will begin there after this quick commercial timeout. You're watching Blinkers Off, handicapping segment, also our Saturday play of the day still ahead.
TVG.com is your harness headquarters, powered by TrackMaster. Check out daily selections, StatsMaster handicapping tools, and this month, earn 3 times wager rewards points on Woodbine harness action. Harness headquarters at TVG.com. Today, bet Oaklawn's Pick 4. Bet it to earn 4 times wager rewards points. Follow the action as TVG's Frank Miramati calls all the races from Hot Springs, Arkansas. Earn 4 times points all month long. Bet it and get free PPs at TVG.com.
Have you ever had an idea for an invention or new product? Bill Schaefer, one of the inventors of Wham-O's new Splash Wash, did. He came up with the idea while watching his children play one hot summer afternoon. Bill invented a car wash for kids. Ride through it, run through it. InventHelp submitted the Splash Wash to Wham-O, the makers of childhood favorites like the Frisbee, Hula Hoop, and Slip and Slide. If you have an invention you would like to try to patent and submit to corporations and want free information that explains how InventHelp may be able to assist you, call now. InventHelp is America's largest invention company with sales offices in over 50 cities nationwide. Call InventHelp today for free information. Bill Schaefer made a financial gain on the Splash Wash. However, most inventions are not successful, and Bill's experience is not typical of what inventors can expect.
For your free inventor's information, call 1-800-246-0806. That's 1-800-246-0806.
The TVG Sunday Spotlight Race. Join us for the American Beauty from Oaklawn. Brought to you by Distorted Humor, leading 2011 sire, the Sunday Spotlight on TVG.
Learn, discuss, suggest. TVG Community, the hub for horse racing. This week's hot topic, will there be a Triple Crown winner in 2012? Cast your vote now. Get connected at TVG Community.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in to Blinkers Off. We covered a lot in the first couple of segments of the program. Now we get down and dirty and do a little handicapping, and we'll begin with our spotlight race for Saturday. They won 6 and a hook in the Cincinnati Trophy. Fillies, 3-year-olds, $50K, and a big juicy field of 10 going postward in here, and no morning line yet because it is Turfway. The 5 or the 6, Sweetness, Goodness, or Lot of Lovin', which one's the horse to beat?
I think Lot of Lovin'. 6 horses in this field are coming out of the Gowl Stakes. Lot of Lovin' was the winner of that race. Broke a little flat-footed, actually broke through the gate before the start, was reloaded. And let that be a little cautionary tale to a lot of handicappers who immediately go running for the cancellation button when a horse breaks through the gate. Not me. Yeah. Not me, because this is the kind of outcome I would fear if I did that. Now, having said that, I'm going to go to the rail with AP Diva, who was 3rd in the Gowl Stakes, but I like this 3rd. Here's a horse that was wide, middle moved, got clear on the lead, got outfinished by a couple of horses, but I like horses coming off running lines like this. Only beaten a length and a quarter for all the money as a lukewarm 3-1 favorite. Today, no such difficulty breaking from the rail. Got some tactical speed here. I think that Rodney Prescott can put her pretty much where he wants her. I think she'll win the Cincinnati Trophy.
I really had very little opinion on this race. I have very little opinion in a field of 10. You know where I'm going. I'm going to go with the price and just kind of roll the dice a little bit. I'm going to go with a filly who's a maiden, who's raced once. And that's the 4 Cozy Up Lady, who's back in 7 days coming out of a pretty quick maiden score, in which your winner looked really good. Your 2-1 favorite who went gate to wire. She missed the break. She rushed up. She was a clear-cut second. Final time competitive. Back quickly, clean break, improvement second start. I think she can make some noise in this race. At the least is a very good underneath horse, the 4 Cozy Up Lady, at 20-1. On the morning line. I actually did get the morning line. It was posted on Equibase before we came on the air. Oaklawn, it is the Pippin, and Rich never played Pippin at any point in time.
Not likely.
Absent-minded, the 2. Let's begin here with Wayne Lucas, Terry Thompson. Yes, she's lost 9 in a row, but all 9 of those races have been in graded stakes races and several grade 1s.
And she's been competitive in a lot of them. She's fresh for this. She worked a bullet 4 furlongs at Oaklawn to indicate that she's back at a track that she really likes. Okay, I got no real knocks against her. I will try to beat her because I think she'll get overbet based on all those graded stakes performances. I'm going to the bottom here with She's All In. You got to love a horse like this. She's All In is looking for her 5th in a row. Yes, she's been beating Oklahoma-bred types in her last couple. 4 starts back on the grass at Louisiana Downs in a $100,000 race. She beat Open Company. She's as sharp as she could be. Channing Hill gets her for Donnie Von Hemel, and she's my play to spring a minor upset because she will take action.
Thanks to my man Joaquin in research, I am privy and cognizant to a couple of major trends right now at Oaklawn Park. You basically got to be on the lead in sprints, and you got to be off the pace in routes. And so I'm going to go with a closer at 1.16 miles. That's the 3. Tizmizu. I think she'll be a little bit further back. She's facing really good horses as well, even though she hasn't won at Oaklawn. Last start at Oaklawn Park, he lose by a neck. The title pool was a Wayne Lucas runner that really likes it at Oaklawn Park. I think she gets the trip in this race. She lost to a good Mott filly and Arena Elvira in her last start. He was your 6-5 favorite in the turnback alarm. I like Tizmizu from off the pace in the Pippin. Chance of rain, by the way, as well in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Not for Friday, but for Saturday. Not rain, but snow in New York this weekend. I don't know how much snow they're going to get Friday night, but they're expecting at least a couple of inches, something to keep in mind. Might change to rain for Saturday. And I Want Revenge, 7-5 on the morning line. And right now we're going to do a little value meter. We always do this usually towards the end of the program with exchange wagering coming to us very, very soon. What is a fair price? We backing a horse, meaning we like a horse up down to what number, and if we don't like a horse, you know, the short price, at what point will we consider betting the horse? And I Want Revenge at 7-5. The horse hasn't won in 33.5 months, so at 7-5, I can't get too excited about him with other horses in this race that make sense. So I don't want him at 7-5, 8-5, 9-5. I think if you can get $10 on I Want Revenge, that's fair, because if he goes off at 4-1 in this race, the 2 major contenders outside of I Want Revenge, 8-2 Fast to Catch and Reading Collery, that means they're going to get a lot of action, get bet down. So if they're bet down, he's 4-1. That's fair.
That's right. And I agree with what Matt just said there about I Want Revenge. Here's a horse that we're both trying to beat. So the price that would entice us to get behind him in the win pool got to be pretty elevated, and it's going to mean by definition that the horses that we are swinging against him with are getting hammered.
So, okay, there you have it. 5-1 for Rich, 4-1 for me. Let's get right to your selection. I think you're going outside.
Yeah, Reading Collier is a very, very classy animal. He won very nicely his only other try on the Inner Dirt at Aqueduct. Probably needed that November 23rd race over at Penn National. I think Kieran McLaughlin's found a good spot for him. And, you know, based on the fact that I Want Revenge has just been in the midst of this long, long drought, here's a horse that makes some sense to pop a minor upset in a short field.
I like 8 Too Fast to Catch. This horse is versatile. He can go to the leading stuff, the pace. He won 3 of his last 4 races. Only defeat to a horse who's turned into a monster in Wise Dan. So I like the one who's going to be your second choice. Probably Sunland Park. This is a little precursor maybe, or something for our viewers right now. You're part of the winter toolkit with Selection Sunland Park on Saturday. You can give away your pick in race number 10. It's the Pepsi-Cola $110,000 event. And where are you going here? That's Who, installed as your 9-5 favorite. I think will be a heavier favorite than that come post time.
Yeah, I got no real knocks against him. He's one of several coming out of that mile stakes race at Sunland Park, which That's Who won. He's turning back in distance, but he has decent sprint form as well. I'm going to the number 9 horse in here at 12-1 on the morning line.
Okay, I looked at
Honshu City, clipped heels, lost rider last time out. You can hardly fault the horse for that. 2 starts back, got pushed up into the race early, was actually setting the early pace, tired to finish 5th. You got to go 3 lines back to find the most recent sprint for Honshu City. That race makes him a player in here. I love that price. I think he gets bet down a little bit from that 12-1, but still a useful upset possibility.
Seems like when I've covered Sunland Park over the years in this show, Henry Dominguez is about 91%. So I'm going to go with Henry Dominguez with the 10. Terahumar Flags. Second to that, Sue. That was a mile. Cutting back to the sprint game, 6 furlongs. Looked very good at 5.5 furlongs on the 17th of December. About a minute left in program. Play of the day for Saturday.
Well,
back to Sunland?
Let's keep it right there at Sunland Park, which is a card that I dug into. Race number 7, Open Maiden Special Weights, going 5.5 furlongs. And the horse I'm going to use in there is the number 10. Last chapter, he's 8-1 on the morning line. He broke last in a field of 7 in his only prior start. He took action that day. He middle moved, got close, little flatten out late for 3rd, but I think he makes a lot of sense from an outside draw in his 2nd career start.
Great race at Aqueduct, race number 7. Big field, 67,000, one other than allowance event. I'm going to go with the 9, Colossal Gift for Michael Hushin. An aggressive move. This horse breaks his maiden and he puts in a real tough allowance race. I like that. That was also his first start on dirt. And the track was listed as good. I think there could be some moisture in the racetrack at Aqueduct on Saturday. Colossal Gift, Dominguez, Hushin at a little bit of a price. We are done. Rich, appreciate it. Good luck with all your selections this weekend. Good luck to all of you out there. We'll do it again next time. Blinkers Off next time, January 27th.